Well, good evening everybody, and thank you for joining us here on Oxford TV as we're live from the Bet Goodwin Oxford Stadium this evening. As tonight we've got action from the ROWE Premiership, and we've got the Oxford Spires, sponsored by Bet Goodwin, and we're hosting tonight the BELLE VUE ACPI Aces. So we're in a difficult position at the moment with the Spires because they, to be honest, haven't got their season going from day one. Haven't really hit the ground running. It's been a real battle. We've had a couple of victories. We've also had quite a few defeats, and we find ourselves 14 points off the playoffs. So at the moment, it is about ourselves. It's about Oxford winning. It's about trying to get some victories on the board and just feeling good about the club and the Spires at the moment. With the visiting Aces, whose bikes you can see behind me, they're in the mix as they have been for the last couple of years. They're obviously the reigning champions. They're sat comfortably in third place. They've been here already this season and won. Which Oxford are chasing quite a big heavy deficit from the opening B fixture at BELLE VUE, which was a few weeks ago. So there's a lot to do tonight for the Spires. But for both teams, it's the same thing. You're going to want to get points on the board. You're going to want to win tonight. Oxford are going to want to try and creep up that table as much as they can and try and hang on to the coattails of those teams in the playoffs. And for BELLE VUE, they're just going to want to try and keep winning to get themselves cemented in that top 2 or 3. So as you join us here, it's a bit of an overcast evening. What we'll do is we'll have a quick walk out onto the track. It's a little bit overcast here today. We haven't got the sun and the weather that we've had of late, and that has helped in terms of track preparation. So at the moment, we've got 2 sets of teams. We've got the Aces and we've got the Spires. They're out on their track walk. So they're currently having a look at looking at the surface. They'll go over and check out the starts. But I think track preparation today has been a lot easier for the guys. It's been easier to get the water and the moisture into the circuit. Jamie's turned it over a few times. There's definitely grip lines around the outside. The starts will be ripped up a little bit, I would imagine. And hopefully we're in for a fantastic meeting this evening. But like I say, it's all to do for Oxford. They really want to try and get some points on the board just to try and hang on to those playoffs and just to try and get themselves back into the mix in that top 4. It's going to be extremely difficult because they have dropped away from it. And like we say, for the Aces, it is all about them, more points, cementing their place. And obviously they come tonight with Brady KURTZ and Dan Bewley. So you've got 2 riders that are in the GPs, you've got 2 riders that are winning GPs. And obviously Brady's trying to chase down Bartosz Zmarzlik for that world crown. So BELLE VUE bring a wealth of experience. They bring some great riders. And we're hoping that this is going to be a really interesting and fantastic meeting. So Heat 1, it's not far away. Certainly isn't that far away. So we've got the Spires, we've got the Aces, we've got a beautiful day here, and we're all set for action this evening. It's going to be a tight meeting, that's for sure. I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as many people think this evening. Everyone's looking at the Aces and think they're just going to run away with this one. But I think if all those Oxford boys can turn up, the guests that are coming in, we'll run through the team shortly. If they can do that, we could be in for an interesting meeting. So let's have a look straight on the start line, because one of the things I noticed earlier on when I did my track walk is the starts are a little bit different to normal. Normally they're quite hard packed, and it takes a few heats for the riders to really work the toe in, make some ruts, make some grooves. But the top surface was quite soft out there, and you can actually see the contours of the shale there. It's a lot softer than normal, and the guys are going to be able to play with that, and it's going to make, you can see it there, look, you can see the water just sat on the surface. So whoever wins that toss is going to have a really interesting choice to make early on as to how they think that is going to kick off on those start lines and how it will develop over the course of the meeting. But it was really interesting to see that, because I've not really seen it with that much play, that much texture. You can see the footprints in there where the riders and then obviously the starting marshals, etc., are getting ready to go, that they've walked over the surface. So very interesting little thing for this evening that's slightly different to normal. We'll see how that pans out, depending on who wins that toss. So yeah, let's have a look at the league table. Like I said in the opening of the show there, it's a different picture for these sides. BELLE VUE looking really comfortable in 3rd. To be honest, the top 4 there's a gap down to King's Lynn in 5th. Those top 4 looking relatively comfortable, and they're starting to pull away from King's Lynn, Oxford and then Birmingham at the bottom. But Oxford have got to still attack every single meeting. They've got to try and get as many points on the board, and they've just got to try and creep their way up towards King's Lynn in the hope that Leicester, BELLE VUE, Sheffield, etc. at the top there just start to drop a few points. So let's have a look at the 2 sides this evening. BELLE VUE bring reigning champions, of course. They bring a really strong team with them this evening, spearheaded by the man who's chasing Bartosz Zmarzlik down. He's probably giving Bartosz more things to think about in the GPs than many riders. That's Brady KURTZ. He'll be at number 1 for the Aces. He was unbeaten the last time he visited. They got a guest in at number 2, Paco CASTAGNA. He comes in for Norik Bladorn, who's racing over in Poland this evening. He's due to be racing over in Poland this evening. So they brought Paco in, who's been here a couple of times and rode well for Birmingham here recently in a heavy defeat for the Brummies. Number 3, Jaimon LIDSEY, another man who enjoys this track, has ridden well here before. And again, a rider on his day who can go to most tracks and beat the majority of riders. Number 4 is Zach Cook. He came into the team this season with his brother Ben out, heading off over to Kings Lynn. Zach makes up the engine room of that side there with Jaimon LIDSEY at 3 and 4. At number 5, their second GP rider, Dan Bewley. Again, last time he was here, he was unbeaten. And he's a man that on his day is phenomenal to watch. Fantastic spear rider, and again he's pushing Freddie Lindgren for that bronze medal at the minute in the GP scene. And down at reserve, 2 riders in Tate ZISCHKE, who made the step up to the top league this year. Was exceptional with Workington last year in the championship. He hasn't had many outings with Workington this year as yet, so his main racing has been in this top league. I think we will see a change in Tate once he's able to get on track with Workington a bit more. But he's a solid rider at 6, and he's capable of. He's very entertaining. He's capable of winning races. And then young British rider Jake Mulford down at reserve, riding for Redcar in the championship. He's been a familiar face at Belle Vue for the last couple of years, and he's holding his own very much so at the moment. And he's pretty much covering what would be his average of 3 or 4 points per meeting. And then Mark Lemon, of course, man that used to rode here for a little while. Great experience, Mark, and he's a man that knows his. Knows the rule book inside out, and there he is on the phone making a last minute call. Spoke to Mark earlier on, and he's confident. He knows it'll be a difficult meeting here. They've had the better of the Spires this season, but he knows that if all the Spires turn up this evening, then Belle Vue are going to have a meeting on their hands, that's for sure. So let's have a look at the home side and the riders we need to do the magic tonight. Starting at number 1, Maciej JANOWSKI. He has taken on that number 1 race jacket, and he's winning races. He's starting to perform more consistently than he has done previously. He's starting to win races from that number 1 spot, and we'll certainly need him to do that tonight, coming up against the likes of Brady KURTZ and Dan Bewley. Guest in at number 2 is Carl Howarth. Carl comes into the side this evening, and again he's a man that has ridden here on a number of occasions and has scored very, very well here. And he's sure to do that again this evening. Charles Wright at number 3. Charles has been a little bit hit or miss of his own admission at the minute. He's riding exceptionally well in the championship. He's just not finding his form 100% in the top league, but he's still got a 6.57 average. He knows he can increase that, and if he can get a little bit of a run of form, he'll continue to score big. Second guest this evening, an exciting one to be honest, is Victor Palovaara. Now he's riding down at Edinburgh. And in a minute, when we move away from the sides, I'll start to run you through some of the scores that he's achieved for Edinburgh this year, and he has scored some wonderful points, the Swedish rider. And this, I think, will be his debut guesting in the top league, and that's going to be exciting to watch this evening. Rohan TUNGATE at number 5. He started the year at number 1. Again, he struggled for form. To be honest, we've seen that. Oxford faithful have seen that at the track and on the stream here. But just of late, we've started to see a bit more consistency coming from Rohan. And he's starting to score those double-figure points that we need him to do to try and get some victories over the line. And down at reserve today, we've got Mitch McDIARMID. Now, Mitch is a rider for the Cheetahs in the championship, and he's coming into the side today as a guest of Peter Kilderman. Peter isn't with us this afternoon. He picked up a knee injury earlier in the week, so he will sit this one out, and Mitch will come in for what is again his Premiership debut. It's almost like having a home rider in the side, so I'll be looking and really interested to see how he goes. And then our rising star is Luke Killeen, and again Luke on his day, he has struggled on occasions, but on his day we know he can beat people. He's looked fast. If he gets a bit of a rub of the green and a little bit of luck, he'll certainly score some points. And Peter Schroeck, as we say, the man that oversees all 3 sides here. He's got a wealth of experience running teams, Peter, and he's looking forward to it. And there he is on the screen, enjoying a last-minute coffee before he gets into tonight's action. He's had a bit of work to do with the guest riders that we've had to bring in this evening for the Spires. Peter has worked his magic. There's not many riders that he doesn't know, and he's been plenty on the phone. And he's been plenty on the phone calling around to see who he can bring in this evening. And to be honest, Carl Howarth coming in for Craig Cook at number 2. I think that's it's a wise move. Carl scored 8 and 10 in previously here this season. Victor Palovaara in for Eric Riss, and we wish Eric all the best, like we do for Craig. Obviously, Craig's unwell at the moment. Eric Riss, he's got a recurrence of an illness that he had previously, and he will be out for a little while. So Victor will come in for him. And obviously Mitch down at reserve for Peter Kilderman. So a few guests tonight, so the makeup of the side not quite what we're used to, but I think the mindset for the Spires has just got to be to go out and win, and it'd be interesting to see how Victor done. He's been exceptional for Edinburgh. He really has. I think he scored 20 points on 3 different occasions. He scored 19 and 16. And a 15 in there as well. That was from reserve for Edinburgh, but you've still got to score, you've still got to beat. And when he's scoring those type of points, he is beating heat leaders at that level as well. And he's moved up to their #1 race jacket, and his points have tailed off naturally, as you would expect. But he's still scored 11, 7 and 9 while he's been at that #1 spot for Edinburgh. There's Carl Howarth. Had a really good chat with Carl in the pits earlier on before the meeting. He's looking forward, was happy to take the guest booking today. It's a track that he's done very well on. He's had a couple of meetings where he scored 8 and 10 with a couple of bonus points, and then he didn't do as well in his last visit where he picked up 4 points, but there was a race win in amongst those. Rohan Tungate, yeah, Rohan's a tricky one. Jake Barrett, his mechanic, was talking to Jake earlier on, and it was a game changer when they got an engine that he was using previously and brought it back here, and all of a sudden, boom, he started to score the points that there he is. Right on cue, thank you for that. There's Jake pushing Rohan's bike over to the start line. So the engine in that is what they wanted him to be on for a little while, and now they've got it back on him, especially here. In his last handful of meetings, he scored double figures on a couple of occasions, so we know what Rohan is more than capable of. So the Spires are looking at what can they do? They've got to go out. They've just got to go out and race and do their best and try and get a victory over the line tonight. That is imperative. There's Jamie Courtney, promoter here. He's been working his magic on the track today. And like we say, because of the weather today, it hasn't been as baking hot as it has been. There's been a little bit of rain in the air over the last 48 hours. That's probably helped us with the track preparation. But yeah, track looking a little bit different tonight than what we've seen previously. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out as the night goes on. Les will be there. Orange high vis on the right. He's a photographer at Swindon. He's now the resident photographer here. We're doing there, snapping the riders. Here we can see the track. You can see that top surface there. You can see that moisture. You can see that material there that the riders are going to be able to play with off the start line. And it's going to be interesting because naturally, whoever's won the toss, most of the time, is going to go 1 and 3. But it'll be interesting to see if they stick with that tonight or whether they defer to 15 or how that pans out. There's the Aces. Mark Lemon at the front. Paco CASTAGNA, Brady KURTZ getting ready to come out. Peter Schroeck on the left with his Spires. They've really had the beating of the Spires this year. In the 3 meetings they've had, obviously 2 up at BELLE VUE and 1 down here. They scored 53, 52 and 58. So they really have had the beating of the Spires. 37, 38 and 32 is what the Spires have scored against them. So they're going to have to do a heck of a lot better tonight to try and get one over on the Aces. But again, I always think the same thing when I come here and I look at the lineup and I look how strong the riders are that the Spires have got. There's no reason for them to be getting beat like they are. It's just it hasn't clicked. They haven't really found their form as a collective group. And you've got to do that. You can have a handful of riders riding well, but you've got to have the majority of your 7 in good form to get the victories over the line, and that just hasn't happened for the Spires, and that's why they find themselves in the position they are. So riders making their way over. They'll get a quick introduction to the crowd. They'll be able to put in a starting lap, a couple of practice starts, a couple of laps of the track, and then we'll be moving swiftly on with the action. Humphrey-Kennett, he's our referee this evening. He'll have his finger on the button. We have got a timer on the starts here at Oxford, so he presses the button to instigate the starting and the release of the tapes, but he doesn't actually decide when they go up. That's all set on a timer, so there shouldn't be any kind of pattern to it. Not necessarily to catch the riders out, but just so that there's no one trying to take advantage of a regular occurrence and a regular repeat of timings on the start. So you can see the riders all having a look at the start lines there. They're all having a dig. There's plenty to play with. You can see Rohan Tungate and Brady KURTZ talking there. And that is the best view in the house. That's even better than my view this evening. Hot air balloon moving over the top of Oxford. Wonderful evening to be up in a balloon. If they come this way, they'll have a great shot of the Speedway. So, we'll get the 2 captains in. There's Brady KURTZ and Maciej JANOWSKI, who's taking on the captain seat. We'll just get Brady's thoughts, we'll get Magic's thoughts, and then we'll do the coin toss. I'll be able to fill my programme in, and then we can start to piece together this evening Let's see how this one develops. So I might just go a little bit quiet for 30 seconds or so while I listen in. Maciej deep in thought, keeping an eye on the starting gate. He's thinking where he's going to go if he wins that toss. He's not sure. Yeah, nice reception for Maciej, as you'd expect. He is a favourite here. Fans would like to see him be a bit more consistent, but he's definitely finding a bit more consistency in his form and scoring a few more points from that #1 spot. It's Charles just coming out to have a look and see. Here we go. Let's have the coin toss and we'll see where we're going. Maciej going with the heat 1, 1 and 3, which he tends to do every time. So Brady called, got it wrong. So Maciej won the toss. And so he's taken gates 1 and 3 in heat #1. Which means when we get to the back end of the meeting, it will switch the other way. And BELLE VUE and Brady KURTZ, Mark Lemon, they'll get to decide what they want to do with 15. If the meeting's tight and the gates have really swung one way or the other, that can make a massive difference. But Oxford will just be hoping that they can keep hold of the aces as the meeting ticks by, so they're in with a shot when it comes to 15. So yeah, we'll just quickly run through the riders again. There's Jake Mulford, he's the rising star for the BELLE VUE Aces. There's plenty of exposure here, whether it be National League level or Championship level. Tate ZISCHKE, down Bewley, unbeaten last time he was here, like I said, top of the show. If he's on form, it's a danger for everybody else around him. Zach Cook, swap places with his brother, coming into the Aces this season. He's holding a 5.91 average. Partner Jaimon LIDSEY, engine room at the side in the middle there. Paco CASTAGNA, entertaining as always, Paco. I'm sure he'll be the same this evening. He'll give 100% for BELLE VUE, that's for sure. And the big #1, second best rider in the world at the moment, Brady KURTZ, and he does look phenomenal in those GPs when you watch him. He looks really good at the moment, and only 9 points adrift of Bartosz Smiles. I don't think anybody would have thought that, but that is indeed the case. So we'll just quickly roll through. I always think the race suits look awesome for the Spires, with that yellow, white and blue. So Luke Killeen is our rising star, and I will think the world of. Really starting to pick up some form for the Cheetahs. Let's hope he can start to fire in a few more points for the Spires. Mitch McDiarmid's going to be interesting to see how Mitch does down there. He's essentially a guest this evening for Peter Kilderman, but he is a cheater. He is our rider, shall we say. And we'll filter in at reserve down there. Rowan, as we said, starting to score better, which is brilliant to see. Excited to see Victor Palovaara. See how he goes this evening. Stepping up into the top league for the first time. Charles Wright, Carl Howarth, and obviously Maciej JANOWSKI at #1. So there's the two lineups. Bit of chaos for 2 minutes on the track. Every rider out there putting in some practice starts, get a bit of a feel for the track. I think the main intention is to just have a couple of practice starts. We can see all the Oxford boys there on the exit of turn 4. And then head into the pits, do a bit of clutch change if they need to. A little bit of work. And again, for anybody that watches the streams regularly, you'll know that I'd like to see the opening of the meeting a little bit different. I'd like to see each rider given, like they do at the, a little bit like qualifying for the Grand Prix, where each rider is given 60 seconds on track to race with a bit of anger and actually put some laps in, get a feel for the track, get a feel for the shape of it. I think it'd be more pleasing on the eye for the supporters in the stadium, something else to watch. But, in my opinion, you have to listen because you're you're tuning into the stream. But yeah, maybe I'll put it forward to the BSB, see what they say, see if they like that idea. So riders will make their way in. Like I say, HUMPHREY-KENNETT is our referee. He'll be flicking that switch in a minute and getting those 2 minutes on. And he'll be calling out Maciej JANOWSKI and Howarth for the home side, and Brady KURTZ and Paco CASTAGNA for the away side. Before we know it, we'll be into 15 massive heats of Speedway. Those from an Oxford persuasion, you'll be wanting to see your boys do the business tonight and get that home victory. If you're tuning in from Manchester, if you're a BELLE VUE fan and you obviously couldn't make the trip down, it's very difficult during the week, isn't it? But you've tuned in. Thank you very much for buying the stream and supporting us here. We hope you guys have a good meeting. And if you're a Speedway fan that just wants to get a bit of a fix, great to have you on board. Let's hope the riders can give us something to get excited about. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. So we do have Laura over in the pits this evening. So as the meeting ticks by and we have the grading breaks, we can head over to Laura during those breaks and get a bit of a take from a couple of the riders, maybe the team managers. Always good to get that perspective during the meeting. So we'll catch up with Laura a little bit later on. You can see our socials along the bottom of the screen there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, website, etc. Keep tabs on what's going on with all three sides here, the Spires, the Cheetahs and the Chargers. Chargers looking good at the minute, sat on the top of that National League. Cheetahs doing well, they're in the mix. It's only really the Spires that have unfortunately dropped away, but there are still meetings to be raced and meetings to be won. Maybe get a bit of a feel-good factor back in this top division. So the 2 minutes are on. Riders have got 1:50 to get themselves round to tapes. No massive rush at the minute from any of them. It's not like some tracks, it's relatively quickly to get across into position here, not quite as quick as it is at Sheffield or Ipswich. There's Brady KURTZ. He's in such fantastic form at the minute, Brady. I think we all knew that Brady was capable of it, and I remember when Brady first came over many years ago now, seems like a long time ago. You always felt he had something special, and all of a sudden he has found that. He's really dialed in, and yeah, he's riding exceptional everywhere, on the continent, in the GPs, at the UK, and he does like this track, so let's see what he brings this evening. So we're all set, we're Oxford, we're BELLE VUE, we're all lined up for a ROWE Motor Oil Premiership clash here. And getting us underway in this heat number one is going to be Kyle Howarth, guesting today, blue helmet colour off the inside for Oxford. Off gate 2, guesting for BELLE VUE in the yellow helmet colour will be Paco CASTAGNA. Off gate 3 in red, Maciej JANOWSKI, captain. And off gate 4 in white, captain for the Aces will be Brady KURTZ. Bet Goodwin, they sponsor heat number one here. And a heat number one, the home side are going to be hoping to get off to a flyer. Take that little bit of pressure off of their 6s and 7s in the next race. But they've got a man in, BELLE VUE's got a man in Brady KURTZ, capable of anything, and a guy in Paco CASTAGNA who did enjoy his visits here. You can see a line of riders, management in the pit, so here we go. Maciej JANOWSKI, Kyle Howarth, Brady KURTZ, Paco CASTAGNA. Must start, Marshall walks away. A little bit of movement from Maciej JANOWSKI as they blast into the first turn for the first time. And Maciej JANOWSKI's managed to get ahead and over the top of Brady KURTZ and gets the run around Paco CASTAGNA down into turn 3 and 4. Kyle Howarth made a worldie of a gate, he's got himself out front. So it's just starting to get a bit congested with Paco CASTAGNA moving into the mix up the inside of Maciej JANOWSKI. The surprise at the minute is Brady KURTZ, but it's pretty condensed. All four riders still on top of each other. Maciej JANOWSKI is not able to get away from the charging Aces behind him. And in heat 1 here we have got a race on. Paco CASTAGNA is all over the back wheel of Maciej JANOWSKI. Brady KURTZ is looking to work around the outside of his teammate to try and get up into that third place, but with a lap to go, I don't think Brady KURTZ is going to get up to challenge. Paco CASTAGNA just starting to hold. Well, he's not holding Brady up because they're all condensed. I tell you what, that has been a blanket over all 4 heat 1, and it's a great 5-1 to open for the Spires. Kyle Howarth and Maciej JANOWSKI, but they could not rest for a second there because Paco CASTAGNA was all over the back. But that is a dream start for the home side. Big 5-1 from Howarth and Maciej JANOWSKI. Surprise there, I think. It's Brady KURTZ. There we go, Howarth with a win from his teammate Maciej JANOWSKI. Third place was Paco CASTAGNA with Brady in fourth, but 5-1 to the home side. They're all over the top of each other for those 4 laps, but that is a cracking start for the home side. It does eat into that aggregate deficit a little bit. There's a lot of work to do there. Let's watch it from the tapes. Keep an eye on Howarth in blue off the inside. He makes a great get. I don't know if Maciej didn't have a tiny bit of movement there, but he managed to get his back wheel in front of Brady, and that meant he could boss that first turn. Paco CASTAGNA tried that inside line but couldn't get up to challenge Howarth. And for 4 laps, they were literally all on top of each other. As the great Dave Lanning would say, that was a blanket overall 4 for 4 laps. But the Aces couldn't get up, and the Spires start with a fantastic 5-1. Two minutes are on for heat number 2. Great way for the Spires to start. Mitch McDiarmid and Lee Killeen, they'll be hoping to add to that. They're up against Tate ZISCHKE and Jake Mulford. Very even race, I would say, this one. Any of these 4 riders could win this race. All of them capable. Howarth made the dream start off of 1. That's where Tate ZISCHKE will find himself. So here we go, heat number 2. Keith Cook Construction, our sponsors. Tate ZISCHKE, white helmet colour off the inside for BELLE VUE. Gate 2, Mitch McDiarmid making his debut at this level. He's in red for Oxford. Gate 3, Jake Mulford, yellow. Plenty of experience of this track, Jake. And Lee Kilby, our rising star in blue, off of gate number 4. So 5-1 to defend early on for the home side. What can... Is that Mitchell Clough there on the left? Unfortunately, just been released by Plymouth. That's very difficult to see. Didn't do a lot wrong there, Mitchell. He's learning his trade as he's going, but due to Scott Nichols becoming available, some changes were needed, and unfortunately it was Mitchell that lost his place. And there's Senna Summers, a man who's really starting to find form for the Chargers and for Birmingham in the National Trophy. So plenty of interesting watchers on in the pits this evening. But let's see what this reserve race brings us. Mitch McDiarmid, Lee Kilby for the home side, Tate ZISCHKE, Jake Mulford for the away side. Start Marshall gets the guys into line. Here we go. Let's see what heat number 2 brings us. Oh, pull back. Tapes didn't release there. And again, like I said earlier on, that's not the referee. He essentially flicks the switch to allow the timer to kick in, and then the tape should release. Unfortunately, didn't on that occasion. Doesn't do the bikes any favours whatsoever. Sat on the start line revving for 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. But they have been ushered straight back round to the start line. No involvement from mechanics. We're going to have a test run, or we're just going to bring the boys straight back in. Tate ZISCHKE off the inside, Mitch McDiarmid off gate 2, Jake Mulford off of 3, and Lee Kilby off of 4. Let's try again. Keith Cook Construction, they sponsor heat 2. 2 shout-outs for Keith Cook Construction this evening. Tate ZISCHKE just taking the opportunity to pack down a little bit. Start Marshall, get them boys in. Here we go then. You would say a rerun, we didn't even really start the first one, but here we go. Reserves race, heat number 2. There we go, we're away this time. That's a good start. Gate 1's working early on in this meeting. But great pull from Mitch McDiarmid. Lee Kilby looking to get a drive round the outside of Jake Mulford as he goes big into 3 and 4, as Luke likes to do. If he can get the run and make it work, Jake will come back up the inside. But so far it is Tate ZISCHKE, made that gate off of 1. Second place, Mitch McDiarmid. Third at the moment is Jake Mulford. But Lee Kilby looks like he's got his bit between his teeth, and he's going deeper into turn 3 and 4. He's just got to try and get that run around rather than lock up mid-turn, and he's gone deeper into 1 and 2. He's really trying here, Luke. Keep an eye on Mitch McDiarmid out front as well, because he's looking all over the back of Tate ZISCHKE, and again he's trying the outside line to see if there's any material out there to get him some forward movement. 1 lap to go. Tate ZISCHKE out front, Mitch McDiarmid second. Lee Kilby still trying all over the back of Jake Mulford. He's got 2 bends to try and do it. Mitch has followed the same line every time. 1 last blast from Lee Kilby. Can he make it work? No, he can't. Again, 2 little races in 1 there with 2 very close battles. But it is Tate ZISCHKE and Jake Mulford that prevail in that one with a 4-2. Another entertaining race. Riders are 2 races in one, very, very close, both of them, but that inside gate is working like a dream. And there we go, Tate ZISCHKE, he made gate 1 work again. Mitch McDIARMID was in second. Jake Mulford held on for third. Luke Killeen tries he might, couldn't get up into that third position. So 4-2 to the Aces, 7-5 after 2 heats. And you can see it from the start again. Gate 1's working really well, and I just thought here that round the back straight, keeping on Luke, he got loads of pull there. I didn't know whether he'd just get that run, but as soon as you just go across that corner a little bit, it just tends to take that speed away. And that run that Luke's tried there, later on in the meeting, that's going to work. You can see that that is going to develop and that line will come into play. Maybe just a little bit too early. There's not quite the material out there needed to make that kind of slingshot round the outside work. But bodes well. Luke Killeen looked fast, but well done to the Aces. They pick up a 4-2. And we're moving straight on. We've got a minute and a half until heat number 3, which is sponsored by Liquid Screed. And we've got Victor Palovaara guesting on the inside in blue for Oxford. Off gate 2, Jaimon LIDSEY in white for the Aces. Charles Wright in red off of gate 3 for the Spires. And Zach Cook, he'll be in yellow off of the outside for BELLE VUE. So one thing, Zach Cook has been here a number of times this season. He's a very popular guest. His average fits into most sides. And he has been here a couple of times as a guest across the 2 divisions. So it's a track that he's riding quite regularly, and that will help him today. That's something to keep an eye on for the home side. So Victor Palovaara, he finds himself off of that gate 1, which has given us two heat winners so far, both really from the tapes. Good run up into the first turn and then controlling the heat for Carl Howarth and Tate ZISCHKE. Charles just trying to get that rut right. Zach Cook was saying he's off the bike at the moment. So 30 seconds of counting. Start marshal will bring him into line. Got a different start marshal this heat to the last heat. For any of you start marshal spotters out there, we've got a different guy out there this time. A couple of different start marshals controlling this evening. So here we go. Heat number 3, 7-5 to the Spires at the moment. Takes up and away we go, and that inside line has worked again, but as Jaimon LIDSEY got the run around Victor Palovaara, yes he does, but Charles Wright does the same to Zach Cook into 3rd place. Charles Wright's out in that deeper stuff. Victor Palovaara is probably going to cut his line off yet. He's holding that 2nd place. So will Charles Wright just sit in here, protect his teammate? Jaimon LIDSEY already looking like he's pulling away. He's got 4, 5, 6 bite lengths already on Victor Palovaara in 2nd. Charles Wright currently in 3rd, Zach Cook at the back. 3-3 as it stands halfway through. Bit more spread out this one than the first 2 heats. Jaimon LIDSEY stamped his authority on that opening turn 2 and that opening back straight. And with a lap to go, the win for him is in the bag, behind anything mechanical. Victor Palovaara in 2nd at the moment, Charles Wright 3rd. It looks like that is how it's going to stay. We had a 5-1, we've had a 2-4, now we're going to have a 3-3. Jaimon LIDSEY with the win, Victor Palovaara 2nd, Charles Wright 3rd, and Zach Cook at the back. Pretty cut and dry, straightforward that one. Jaimon LIDSEY did the work in the first turn. Victor Palovaara not quite getting that drive up to the first turn as the guys have got in the opening couple of heats. Mark Lemon will be happy with Jaimon LIDSEY there. Good win for him. He was followed home by Victor Palovaara, Charles Wright in 3rd, Zach Cook 4th, 3-3, 10-8 after 3 heats. And pretty even Stevens at the moment. You can see it from the tapes. Keep an eye on Victor Palovaara. Just doesn't get a run like the 2 boys before him have got. Maybe a tiny bit of a nibble there, but Jaim's got loads of drive going up into that first turn. And even though Victor there is in front, when you come off that back straight and you can get your wheels in line and get down that back straight, you do end up very much in the ascendancy going into turn 3. And Charles, a bit like Luke Killeen in the heat before, there's Luke Killeen, he's going to be out in heat 4. He was just out in that deeper stuff, which will start to develop. That line will start to build up. Yeah, you can see Luke's been in action already. Yeah, that line will start to develop, and that will come into play a little bit later on, but just not working as the boys needed to at the moment. But entertaining stuff. We're 10-8 after 3. So we're going to see a couple of the reserves back out for their 2nd outings. Should be Jake Mulford for the away side. Yeah, there's Jake and Mark just having a quick catch up. Luke Killeen off the inside. That might work to his advantage in this one, Luke. It's gates 1 and 2 that have given us heat winners so far. We're going to see Rowan and Dan Bewley for the first time. So there comes Jake. He'll come round to join the other three. He's got about 45 seconds till tapes up. So here we go, heat number 4, Nuffield Health sponsor heat 4 here, and it's going to be Luke Killeen, failed to score first time out in blue off the inside. Jake Mulford picked up that point in the reserves race. He's going to be in yellow off of gate number 2 for the Aces. First time we're seeing Rohan TUNGATE red off of gate 3 for the Spires, and likewise Dan Bewley white for the Aces off of gate number 4. This heat so often can develop into 2 races. There's a Birmingham Brummies board I see there. Good to see him here this evening. Yeah, sometimes this heat can develop into 2. You've got the big hitters off the outside here, and then you've got the reserves off the inside. Let's see what happens. Rohan TUNGATE, Luke Killeen, Dan Bewley, Jake Mulford. Takes up and away we go. Luke lifts a little bit, but he's got the better of Jake Mulford going into that first turn, and Rowan will get the run right round the outside to join his teammate. Now, Dan Bewley, what have you got in your locker? Can he get at Rowan round the outside of Luke? Will he sit with him? Oh, very close there. The Spire, they should be working together here, boys. Come on. Got Dan Bewley on the case, but Rowan has taken up that lead from Luke Killeen. Keep an eye on Dan Bewley. Out in that deeper stuff. Luke Killeen holding him off at the moment. Rohan TUNGATE out front. Luke Killeen just a little bit uncomfortable there. That's allowed Dan to gain an advantage, but Dan has to come off the gas. Can't quite make a move on Luke at the moment. If Luke goes out wide here, he'll shut that door. 1 lap to go. Can Dan Bewley get up to challenge Luke Killeen? He's looking for a cutback. That's fantastic from Dan Bewley. You could see him lining that up. You knew what he was going to do. Is Luke going to stay upright? Is he going to try and drive back around the outside of Dan on a run to the line? He can't quite make it work. Rohan TUNGATE with the win. Dan Bewley had to work hard there to get up into second place. But indeed, that is what he did. And Luke Killeen picks up that important point to get a 4-2 for the home side. But he had to work hard for that one, Dan Bewley. Rohan TUNGATE with a confidence-boosting win for him. Dan Bewley got himself up into second from Luke Killeen, with Jake Mulford just a spectator in that one. So 4-2 to the Spires, 14-10 after the first 4 heats. And we're probably going to say a little bit of track prep. Let's see this from the start, because keep an eye on the boys off the inside. Luke makes the gate, ifs a little bit, but manages to get in there first before Jake Mulford. And then Jake here is just holding up Dan, comes back across the line of Dan Bewley. And so here, Dan's got a lot of work to do. But we all know Dan's got that speed and that ability to get up and challenge. You just wonder there. It's stick or twist for Rohan TUNGATE, really. Does he try and stick behind Luke Killeen and protect him for the 4 laps? But when you've got somebody of the speed and quality of Dan Bewley behind you, that can go badly wrong. And Dan could end up picking off both of you, potentially. So, yeah, it's one of those. Some riders would have sat behind Luke, some would have just disappeared off and got the 3 points. And ultimately, it got the 4-2 for the home side, because Dan was only able to get around Luke Killeen right at the last knock-ins. Here we go into the last lap. You can see Dan go really wide there, really cutting back. That's lovely to see. That's a great piece of speedway from Dan Bewley. And then here, fair play to Luke Killeen, because he did try and stick and push around the outside to get himself back up into that second spot. But at least we had another entertaining race. So we're 4 down, 14-10 to the home side. Peter Schroeck will be happy with that. And while we've got a bit of a grading break, let's head over to the pits and catch up with Laura.
Birmingham to follow the Spires.
Thank you very much, Lee. Welcome over to the pits for the first time this evening, and what is warming up to be a fantastic meeting. We're going to take a walk down the Oxford side during this track break just to see what's going on. Because it is a hive of activity in here. I think the team have come out all guns blazing and are looking to get some good scores on the table. We've praised Peter Schroeck throughout the season on his good choice of guests, and there's 2 of them sat there with Victor and Kyle, both very impressive first rides. And as Lee said earlier on, it was also Victor's debut in the Premiership, so hopefully that settled a few nerves for him, and he goes on to score some impressive points throughout the rest of the night. Also making his Premiership debut, Mitch McDiarmid from our very own Oxford Cheaters. I think he'll have been happy with that first ride. He wasn't slow at all on the pace there, was he? And he's got his dad there in camp with him. Let's have a wander down and see if we can have a chat with somebody. Let's see who is looking like they might want to talk to us. Everybody is super busy at the moment. So what we do is we might just pass you back up to Lee and see if I can get someone lined up for a chat in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's a tough job sometimes for Laura because they come in off those first 4 heats, and that is where they've got to feel for the track, they've got to feel for the bike, and that's not always easy, Laura. So don't worry, it's just good to get your little take from the pits there, get a different view on the camera for the guys at home. And hopefully Laura's able to grab a quick tete-a-tete with somebody in a minute and just get their views and thoughts so far. But positive, very positive for the home side. 14.10 after the first 4 heats. I would imagine they'll be happy with that. And as if by magic, we'll head back over to Laura, who's managed to find someone to talk to.
This evening, and this week
not just yet, Lee, but we are going to have a walk down and have a look at the BELLE VUE camp. I think it's fair to say they might not have expected to be the 4 points down at this stage of the meeting. So as you can see just over here, there is a team talk going on at the minute. They've all got smiles on their faces, and I think they've got a great choice of character of guests there with Paco. I think he will make sure that there is no shortage of team spirit going on in the BELLE VUE camp. Again, as I said, we might not get any interviews on this track grade because everybody is super focused with the meeting being tight, but we will do our absolute best to get someone lined up for you a little bit later on. All-star mechanic Aaron Swindles, there we go. I've known Aaron for many years, and I've got to say he has told me I'm not to go anywhere near him with a microphone this evening, so if I want to maintain that friendship, I will stick to that. A focused looking Paco. I think he's been all over the country guesting for everybody at the minute, and obviously the long trip down from Edinburgh today. I believe he stayed over in Reading last night just to break up the drive a little bit there. If anybody was wondering if the track was dusty in the high temperatures, I can confirm the riders were definitely looking a little bit muddy after the first block of 4 races, so no sign of any dust as of yet, but causing quite a big clean-up job for the mechanics. I'll pass you back up to Lee, as it looks like the track grade is nearly over here.
Nicely done, Laura. Thank you so much. Yeah, Paco, he's a popular guy, popular guest. Always give you 100%. So there's the gate stats early on. A couple of winners off of 1, and then 2 and 3 in the last couple of heats, just providing us with a race winner as well. Not much off a gate 4 at the moment, but that tends to change as the meeting goes on. But pleasing, I would say, for the home side, get a couple of race winners in there. Killeen in that first one looked quick, just couldn't get up to challenge. And then, to be honest, when you know you've got Dan Bewley behind you, you've just got to try and focus, drive forward, not worry about what's going on behind you. But it's not always that easy. And like I was saying, it's an interesting one that when you've got that reserve rider coming in with one of the 2 heat leaders. In that, does the heat leader stick behind him and try and protect him for the 4 laps? I suppose it's horses for courses to a degree, and it depends on who you've got chasing you down. And when you've got the rider that's currently 4th in the world chasing you down, it might just be better to cement that win and get yourself up. And to be honest, that pretty much was how that race developed. Rohan TUNGATE was able to get his head down, get some fresh air, pull away, and Killeen did his job brilliantly well by holding up Dan Bewley almost for the 4 full laps. And it took a fantastic piece of track craft from Dan to get that cutback and get that drive up the inside to get the better of Luke. With essentially 2 corners to go. So there's Victor Palovaara, and his scoring has just been astronomical for Edinburgh. He came in, a few of us had obviously heard of him and seen some scores off him, but I don't think anybody expected him to score like he did. Even though he came in at reserve in the championship, you've still got to learn the tracks, you've still got to go to places you've not necessarily been to before, and he did that with some great effect, and he's continuing to do it. It's lovely to see a new face like that back in British Speedway, and entertaining crowds and us here on the stream today. So Humphrey-KENNETT's got our 2 minutes on. We're 1 minute and 45 into that. The riders are going to come around for heat number 5, and again we see a big hitter coming out in Brady KURTZ, but failed to score first time out. He's going to want to put that right. And it's up to Charles Wright and Victor Palovaara to try and not let that happen. So here we go, Paco CASTAGNA. 1 point first time out, yellow helmet colour off the inside for BELLE VUE. Charles Wright, third place for him, red helmet colour off of gate number 2 for the Spires. Brady KURTZ failed to score first time out. He'll be in the white helmet colour off of gate number 3. And Victor Palovaara, 2 points. He's off that tricky outside gate at the moment. He's going to be in blue for the Spires. Teng Tools, they sponsor heat number 5. It's a heat number 5 that does see Victor off of that gate 4. It sees Paco off of 1. And Paco, if he can make a good start and ride that curb and get fresh air, he's going to be very difficult to beat. Chuck in the mix Brady KURTZ, and we've got ourselves an entertaining heat here. And Charles Wright, he packed in behind his teammate in that opening ride. Just followed Victor home for that 3-3. Oh, there's me on screen. Best view in the house, as I always say. It's not so hot today, so it's very enjoyable up here. So let's enjoy this heat. Heat number 5, Charles Wright, Victor Palovaara, Brady KURTZ, Paco CASTAGNA. We've had a start marshal swap again. Maybe they're recruiting, who knows. Here we go, big heat number 5, 14-10 to the home side. Green light comes on, referee gets them ready. Takes up on heat number 5, and it is Paco CASTAGNA off the inside. And Brady KURTZ, if he can, Charles Wright can shut the door on him, he can't. That means Brady gets that run all the way around the outside. So Charles Wright, he has work to do here. Paco CASTAGNA puts his back wheel out towards Charles Wright, stops that run. It's a different story in this one for the Spires, but Charles looks quick, looking up the inside of Paco. Paco comes back across the front of him. And Charles has got to change tact a little bit. Brady KURTZ, fresh air, checks out, wins in the bag for him. No one's going to get near him. It's that battle for second. Can Charles get up the inside? Just rears and lifts a little bit there. 1 lap to go. We've got a race on. Charles Wright, Paco CASTAGNA for that second place. Victor Palovaara isn't a million miles away, but he's not even going to get in amongst it here. Keep an eye on Charles Wright. Working the outside line. He'll get the run down the outside of Paco CASTAGNA. Will he keep it going, or will he lock up? Here's on the run to the line. Charles Wright does it. Fantastic speedway from Charles. Had to change the tact, had to change what he was doing, change his line, and he did it to perfection on that last corner. Just left Paco in a I don't know where to be kind of a position. But what it does is it does give the away side a heat advantage. And they do creep back within 2 points. Victory for Brady KURTZ. Charles Wright again, a bit like Dan Bewley, hard fought. Second place for him. Paco CASTAGNA was third. Victor Palovaara fourth. 4-2 to the Aces. 16-14 as we move past heat number 5. There you can see the run. Just keep an eye on Charles as he goes in. Paco doesn't know whether to stick or twist. Charles locks, a bit like Dan Bewley on the opposite corner. Gets that run around the outside. Just got his wheels in line a bit quicker than Paco. That's what allowed Charles to get that run down to the checkered flag and get him up into second place. So 16-14, it's creeping a little bit close to the Aces. Second race on the trot, that gate number 3 is giving us a winner. That's where Kyle Howarth's going to find himself. He was a winner first time out. There is Kyle. He is a guest that's going to give 100% every time he gets out on track, as is proving the case here. Here we go, heat number 6, sponsored by the Real Mini Company. Maciej JANOWSKI, 2+1 red helmet colour. He'll be off the inside for Oxford. Dan Bewley, second place, hard fought second place. First time out, he's going to be in white off of gate number 2. Heat winner, Kyle Howarth, he'll be in blue off of gate number 3 for Oxford, guesting today. And Tate ZISCHKE, winner first time out, who'll be in yellow off of gate number 4. So, a couple of riders with race wins, a couple of riders with second places. Again, not necessarily a heat that could go split into 2 heats. Any of these boys, if they make the gate, Tate ZISCHKE finds himself off that tricky gate 4. Victor Palovaara failed to score off of it in the last ride, and it's given us less points than anywhere else. Dan Bewley finds himself off a 2 where we have had a race winner. But it's been gate 3 in the last 2 heats with Rohan TUNGATE and Brady KURTZ. Kyle Howarth does know how to track. the gating gloves on in this one. He might well do the business. And the Spires will be looking to almost one inside, one outside Dan Bewley up into the run to that first turn. Magic's using that full 10 seconds he's got before tapes up. Here we go. Heat number 6. Green light on. Away they go up into that first corner, and it is Dan Bewley and Maciej JANOWSKI. Keep an eye on Howarth coming back over the top of Tate ZISCHKE and his teammate Maciej JANOWSKI. But Dan Bewley rode a perfect first couple of corners there, and already he's got his wheels in line and he's driving away. Dan Bewley looking good in this one. Maciej JANOWSKI in second at the moment, Howarth in third. Tate ZISCHKE probably going to find the going a little bit tough in this one. 3 good riders he's up against here. Tate, he finds himself at the back, but Dan Bewley didn't make the same mistake as he did in his first one. Fantastic gate, perfect first couple of corners. Got that drive, got that pull down the back straight, and this is the most strung out heat we've had so far. Dan Bewley from Maciej JANOWSKI, from Howarth, from Tate ZISCHKE. Looks like we're going to have a 3-3 in this one. You can only sit and admire Dan Bewley, looking fast, riding the perfect line, getting a little bit deeper out towards the fence. He takes the checkered flag from Maciej JANOWSKI, from Howarth, with Tate ZISCHKE coming home in 4th place. So less to talk about in that one than the others. What it does do is it gives Dan Bewley a heat win. There we go, Dan Bewley with the win from Maciej JANOWSKI, from Howarth, and Tate ZISCHKE at the back. 3-3, 19-17 as we go past heat number 6. And number 1 and 2 for Oxford proving well worth it at the moment. You can see it from the start, Dan Bewley gets the gate, gets over the top of Magic there, and plenty of pull, you can see that. He goes up into that deep stuff off of 2, run down the back straight, and to be honest, by the time he reaches the checkered flag, he's 4 or 5 bike lengths ahead. And just looking awesome, yeah, he's already checked out there. Oxford packed in for 2nd and 3rd. Now there we can see there's still plenty of material there that the riders can use to drag into those ruts. A little bit wetter off of gate 2 there maybe. That was a win off of gate 2 that time for Dan, and he made it from the tapes. It shows you can get off that. And there's gate 4, you don't want to be off gate 4 at the moment. It's not the place to be. And that's where Mitch McDiarmid finds himself as he rolls into position. Place first time out for Mitch, if you're looking to build on that. So we are on heat 7, Henley and Son Leadworth Specialists. They're our sponsors of heat number 7. Jaimon LIDSEY, winner first time out, look fast as well. He's going to be in white off of the inside. Rohan TUNGATE, winner first time out. He's going to be in red off of gate number 2. He looked quick first time out. Zach Cook failed to score in that first one. He's going to have the yellow helmet colour off of gate number 3. And Mitch McDiarmid, he picked up a couple of points in that opening reserves ride. He's going to be in blue off of gate number 4. So the 2 guys off the inside in this one, Jaimon LIDSEY and Rohan TUNGATE, they both won pretty comfortably in that opening heat, in their opening heats. They'll be looking to do that again. Zach Cook will be looking to improve on that last place he had in his opening ride. But they're very strong, aren't they? BELLE VUE with Brady KURTZ, Jaimon LIDSEY and Dan Bewley. That's 3 strong riders at the top end of their side. And if they're all on form, it makes it very difficult for any opponents, really. And they all seem to like this track. They all like coming here. So, here we go. Heat number 7. Tapes up, and it's a good one off the inside from Jaimon LIDSEY. Rohan TUNGATE very cleverly there, just put Zach Cook under pressure. But Zach Cook looking to come back round the outside of Mitch McDiarmid, can't make it stick. Right, we've got 2 races on here. Out front, Jaimon LIDSEY from Rohan TUNGATE, Mitch McDiarmid in 3rd, Zach Cook in 4th. It's going to be a race to the checkered flag, this one. Can Rohan just keep hold of Jaimon LIDSEY out front? Likewise, will Tate ZISCHKE be able to just will Zach Cook reeling Mitch McDiarmid, and he does, and he moves up the inside of him. But Mitch is in a good spot here to get a run back round the outside, and he's done it. That's fantastic for Mitch McDiarmid to get back into 3rd place. But I don't think that race is over. Looks like Rowan's just got a little bit too much to do out front to pull in Jaimon LIDSEY. So the battle really is for that third place. And whether it's going to be a heat advantage to the Aces or whether Mitch McDiarmid can hold on and get a share of the spoils, it looks like he might just do it. Fair play to Mitch McDiarmid in that one as a run to the line. Just holds on. Another good heat, plenty to talk about. But Jaimon LIDSEY, he's looking good this afternoon, this evening. Second win for him. Disappointingly, I think Zach Cook's second last place. Rohan TUNGATE put it to him for the full 4 laps there. Jaimon LIDSEY out front, but just couldn't reel him in. It was Jaimon LIDSEY with the win from Rohan TUNGATE. Mitch McDiarmid, a hard fought, well done third place there. Had to fight back to get it from Zach Cook. 3-3 scoreline, 22-20, keeps that 2-point scoreline. See it from the tapes. Yeah, Jaimon got a great gate off of 1. Rowan here just manages to get over the top and in front of Zach Cook, and that almost put him off there. He had to shut off going into 4. And then the race really was, Rowan was on Jaimon's back wheel for the full 4 laps, but you always felt Jaimon was in control of the heat. The battle was really for third place between Zach Cook and Mitch McDiarmid, and Zach got the better of him. It was here he makes that move. Up the inside, but Mitch doesn't flinch. He stays wide, stays driving, uses that turns 1 and 2, uses that grip line that's building up, and got back in front. So there's the tail of the tapes. It's pretty even off 1, 2 and 3. You can see there 15, 13 and 11 points off the inside gates, but just the 3 points off of gate number 4. You really don't want to be there at the moment, that's for sure. And like we were saying at the start, when it goes to heat 15, you know, by the look of it, you're going to end up with gates 2 and 4 here. So have we got Laura over in the pits? I think Laura. How are you getting on this time, Laura? You managed to find someone to talk to.
Thank you, Lee. I'm here with Rowan. Rowan, we've got a meeting on our hands, 2 points ahead, and you seem to be having a fantastic night today.
Yeah, it's got off to a good start. Always good to get a win. So, just got to make starts and avoid last places, so it's going to be tight at the end. They've got 2 big hitters, so we just need to try and get ahead now and make it easier for ourselves later.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got 3 guests in the team tonight, albeit Mitch is with Oxford anyway, but how does that affect the dynamic when it's not like your normal full squad?
It's a few familiar faces. I know a few of the boys, so Howarth always does a good job. I've never really rode with Palovaara, and same with Mitch, but Mitch has come here with no pressure, and maybe he's a bit nervous, but he's doing a good job. So
if he's nervous, he's not showing it.
No, exactly. He's pretty laid back, so hopefully he can keep it going and should be good.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We'll let you get back. Thank you. And we heard from Rowan there, it is a team effort so far this evening. It does feel like vibes are good. There's a brilliant team atmosphere in the pits, which we maybe haven't always seen with the Spires. Tractor's still going around trackside here, so we're going to have a wander down just to have a look, keep you guys in on the loop as to what it looks like. We've got a very focused looking Lee Killeen there. He's starting to mix it with the best of the best out there now, and he definitely wants it, definitely wants a victory. And I can imagine the youngsters are definitely feeling the pressure, especially when you've got the likes of Dan Bewley, Brady KURTZ coming up to them against the tapes. Like Rowan said, maybe Mitch is feeling a little bit nervous. We got a daunting experience, but the guys are handling it really well. We talked about team atmosphere looking good in the Oxford camp. We'll see if we can grab a quick word with one. Would somebody mind talking to me, please? Oh, amazing, to the winner, apparently. Gemma, it's a really, really close meeting today. You guys seem to gel really well as a team, and we've seen you having some team talks. What's the plan to turn it around for the Aces?
I think everyone's just trying to find their feet, and once everyone does that, I think everyone's pretty happy, just a little bit off, and it's just about making them starts and getting to that line first. So hopefully everyone can start making starts, and we can get in front and get some heat advantages.
You've had no trouble with making the starts?
Well, there's still a few races left yet, so we'll keep chipping away and try to keep doing my thing, and hopefully I can get some more wins.
From where we're stood in here, it looks like the track's changed quite a lot from the opening 4 heats. We expected maybe a little bit of dust, but you guys were coming in looking quite muddy. Has it changed quite a lot?
I think it's just starting to slicken off now. That top layer is just starting to go off and go to the fence where we're riding. So, you know, it's kind of the same every time we come here. It's, you know, the first race is always muddy, first round, and then it dries out, and I'm sure it'll be dusty later.
Thank you so much. I'll let you get back to the pit bay. Lee, I will hand straight back up to you.
Great stuff. Laura, a couple of really good interviews there. Really good to hear. And it's interesting what Rohan was saying about Mitch McDiarmid, potentially a bit nervous, but like Laura said, it's really not showing. He's doing it exceptionally well, you know. He's picked up points in both of his rides. He's on 3 paid 4 from his 2 outings. That's a fantastic return on his on essentially his top flight debut. And Jaimon, yeah, really good to hear from Jaimon. He's got 2 race wins and he looks in really control. And again, we've got Dan Bewley now. He's won his last one. Brady KURTZ, he's won his last one. So those 3 big hitters for the away side. That's the Aces trump card, really, is those 3. If them 3 can start to dial in and do the business, then, you know, they start to come strong in the second half of the meeting. So, but let's take nothing away from the Spires at the moment. This is a really positive start to this meeting for them. That man on screen there, Carl Howarth, he's got 4 paid 5 from his 2 rides so far, which he's going to be exceptionally happy with that. Paco CASTAGNA for the away side, he's had 2 third places, but has been in the mix in both those heats. Potentially could have got a bit more. We're also going to see Jake Mulford in this one, who picked up a point in his first one. And we're going to see Luke Killeen, who picked up a point in his second one. So, interesting dynamic to this heat. Again, anybody could pop out and win this one. So you can't. We're not in a position to do it. But you can't have any tactical substitutions or anything in heat number 8. It's a protected heat, and in this protected heat, we're going to see Abingdon Beds as the sponsors. We're going to see Jake Mulford off the inside in the yellow helmet colour. Luke Killeen in blue. He'll be off at gate number 2 for Oxford. Paco CASTAGNA white off for gate 3. Guesting today, obviously, for the Aces. And Carl Howarth, guesting for the home side. He's going to be in red off of gate number 4. And like we were saying, this protected heat, so you can swap reserves in this one. Or if there's a rider replacement in the heat, but you can't make a tactical swap. So, you know, if one of the sides is getting beaten, you couldn't bring in one of your heat leaders into this one to try and eat into that deficit. So here we go, heat number 8, 22-20. Howarth and Killeen, CASTAGNA and Mulford. Takes up and away we go. Even break up into that first turn, and Killeen's putting his butt wheel in there. Carl Howarth's trying to move in, but Paco CASTAGNA's got to run around the outside. And Jake Mulford, he's done the business from the tapes, and he's out front. Ace is looking good. Spires with work to do. And again, it's a close one, this one. Keep an eye on Carl Howarth. Round the outside of Jake Mulford. Just a little bit uncomfortable for Carl for that split second, but he's kept his wheels in line. And he will get the run around Jake here into second place. Now he's chasing down Paco CASTAGNA. Will this now also give Luke Killeen the opportunity to get up and challenge Jake Mulford? Looks like he's got the speed, Luke, and he's riding a deeper line. Again, 2 races in one here. Carl Howarth looking to get that run back up the inside of Paco. This is going to be a fantastic. Luke Killeen round the outside of Jake Mulford. That could prove pivotal. And keep an eye on Carl Howarth here. Can he move up the inside on Paco CASTAGNA? He's got 2 corners to go. Is he going to get a run around the balls on a run to the line? CASTAGNA holds on from Carl Howarth with Luke Killeen in 3rd. But that is the important line. Luke Killeen got up ahead of Jake Mulford to take that 3rd place and get a share of the heat. That is important, no last places. Good win for Paco CASTAGNA. He is going to give us a lap of honour. Potentially the first one of the day at Heat 8. That's not good enough. Well done, Paco CASTAGNA. That's what the crowd want. So it was Paco CASTAGNA with the win from Carl Howarth, who was really trying, from Luke Killeen, who got the better of Jake Mulford into 3rd to share that heat. 3-3, 25-23 as we move into the second half of this meeting. Here we go, we can see it from the tapes. Jake Mulford does a great job off of 1. He bosses that first turn, he's in control of the heat, rides a nice tight line. And with Paco CASTAGNA coming round the outside to join him here, it meant it was all work to do for the home side. Carl Howarth, he got the better of Jake Mulford pretty early on, to be honest. Keep an eye on Carl here. Just a little bit uncomfortable there for that split second, but this is where he managed to get over the top round the outside of Jake Mulford. And then what that allowed was Luke Killeen to then move into the same position to do the same thing. And didn't he do that well? So it was a share of the heat. Jamie Lee on the decks, as he always is. Well, most of the time. Does a great job in there in centre green, keeping the crowd entertained. So we move on to heat number 9, SD Timo Car Sales. They sponsor this heat number 9. And it's going to see Dan Bewley, white helmet collar off the inside, 5 points so far for him. Victor Palovaara, 2 points, blue helmet colour, gate 2 for Oxford. Tate ZISCHKE, 3 points, yellow helmet colour, gate 3 for BELLE VUE. And Charles Wright, 3+1 for him. He's going to be in red off of gate number 4. So we are 25-23. Still that 2-point gap remains as it's been for the last 4 heats. So, Charles Wright, what can you do here up against Dan Bewley? Tate ZISCHKE got a great win first time out for the away side, but then followed that up with the last place. And likewise, Victor Palovaara had a really solid second place first time out, and then failed to trouble the scorers in his second outing. So, I think the biggest problem could be, there was a couple of points from Carl Howarth off gate 4, but he had to work from it. It certainly didn't come from the tapes. And it's 1 and 3. We haven't had a win off of gate 1. What was that, heat 7? Yeah, Jaimon LIDSEY. So 1 and 3 are the dominant gates. Let's see, heat number 9. Away we go. Victor Palovaara and Dan Bewley have made the gates off the inside. Charles Wright, he's going to get a run really round the boards and round Dan Bewley. Charles Wright, great first 2 turns from him. Dan Bewley looking to immediately repay the favour, and he does it. At the same point, Victor Palovaara just loses out to Tate ZISCHKE. So Charles Wright and Dan Bewley exchanging places in that opening heat, but tail of this one could well be Victor Palovaara. Can he get up? Can he get the better of Tate ZISCHKE into that 3rd place? So I tell you what, Dan Bewley's checked out, he's gone, there's no catching him. He's half a length of the straight ahead of Charles Wright now after that opening exchange, and he is gone. So Charles is looking over his shoulder. Yeah, Victor Palovaara, he's dropped away. He's essentially not going to finish this heat. It's going to be a 4-2 Dan Bewley. He's miles ahead. Fair play. Good win for Dan Bewley. Charles Wright, after that opening exchange, he holds on for 2nd place, but can do nothing about it. And Tate ZISCHKE got the better of Victor Palovaara early on. And he creeps over the start-finish line. None of that bike sounds too good there from Victor Palovaara. So Dan Bewley, he comes round to take the applause. But what it does do, that 4-2 evens up the scores. It was a win for Dan Bewley from Charles Wright. Tate ZISCHKE 3rd, importantly, from Victor Palovaara. So it's a 4-2 to the Aces. And what that does do is that brings them level, 27 points apiece after heat number 9. And Dan Bewley starting to really dial in and look fast. But what a great opening exchange on that opening lap. So keep an eye on Charles here. He really does fire around the outside of Victor Palovaara and then gets the better of Dan Bewley. But Dan immediately just drives a little bit deeper into turn 2 and to turn 3. And that's a fantastic line. At the same point there you just saw in yellow, Tate ZISCHKE come in at the inside of Victor Palovaara. And that is how it stayed. And it stayed 4-2 to the away side, so that levels it up, 27 points apiece as we move into heat number 10. And what we're starting to see now is we're starting to see the race winners coming from the away side. Brady KURTZ, Paco CASTAGNA, Jaimon LIDSEY, Dan Bewley. That's going to be the worrying thing for Peter Schroeck in his home side. They've got to break that trend now. They've got to get a heat winner. They haven't had one for a few heats now. Have to go back to heat 4 to find a heat winner for the home side. Maciej JANOWSKI, Carl Howarth, and they do it in this one. Heat number 10, County Plumbing Supplies. They're our sponsors, which sees Zach Cook has failed to score so far. Zach, yellow helmet colour off the inside for BELLE VUE. Carl Howarth, 6+1, blue helmet colour, gate number 2 for Oxford. Jaimon LIDSEY, 2 race wins for him, 6 points. White helmet colour, gate number 3. And Maciej JANOWSKI, 4+1 for him. Red helmet colour off of gate number 4, but it's that dreaded gate number 4. There's not much doing out there. We have seen a couple of second places in the last couple of heats come from gate number 4, so the points are starting to drip feed now from 4, but no race winners as yet. And that's where Magic finds himself. It's probably not where Oxford need him to be in this one. I'd rather he was anywhere but gate number 4, but if anybody can make that jump and do the business from there, it is him, but he's up against the man on his inside. Jaimon LIDSEY, who's had a couple of sparkling race wins, has looked really fast, in control. done the business early on and has put his heats to bed really with very little fuss. Let's see, Carl Howarth, Maciej JANOWSKI, can they get the better here of Jaimon LIDSEY? Can Zach Cook get amongst the points? Tapes go up on heat number 10. Zach Cook has made a better one. Jaimon LIDSEY's got really stuffed there by Carl Howarth, but keep an eye on LIDSEY, back run up the inside of Rohan TUNGATE into third place. Carl Howarth looks to change tack, change line, but so does Jaimon LIDSEY, who's still in that third place ahead of Rohan TUNGATE, but Rohan goes in a little bit deeper. Looks like he lost something there going around. There's the chain cover going around turns 1 and 2, but we've got a race on here. Zach Cook, 2 last places so far. Looks like he might well change that. Carl Howarth in second, he's looking to lock up and change lines. Rohan goes really deep, kisses the base of the fence. That has potentially put his race to bed here, but Zach Cook looking good out front, lap to go. Carl Howarth in second. He's going to want to hold on to that second place from the fast charging Jaimon LIDSEY. He's not going to get his third race win on the trot, but his third place looks like it is going to give another heat advantage to the away side. Jaimon just looking for one last run. No, he's not going to make that work, so it is a 4-2 to the away side. And they are just starting to turn the screw that tiny bit. They've got themselves back into the mix here. Good win for Zach Cook. Another 4-2. It was Zach Cook and Jaimon LIDSEY that got that 4-2 over Carl Howarth in second and Maciej JANOWSKI in fourth. 29.31. They've got themselves in front for the first time this afternoon. We're going to move straight on. Ah, yeah, there we go. It was just the cover off the side that came off. Just keep an eye from the tapes. Start really from Carl Howarth. I thought, you know, that's the heat before. We're having a flashback to Charles Wright getting over the top of Dan Bewley before Dan Bewley then threw it back at him, which was a very good lap. It's worth seeing again. But that was Jaimon LIDSEY and Zach Cook getting a 4-2 over Carl Howarth and Maciej JANOWSKI. So Carl Howarth, as a guest, has really done his job this afternoon. Cook comes to the party in his third ride with a race win. He's always capable of that. So this afternoon, to this point, has run to programme. And it's going to again in this one. You can see Rohan TUNGATE and Mitch McDiarmid. Against Brady KURTZ. Here we go. Heat number 11. Smiths of Bletchley. They sponsor this heat, which is going to see Rohan TUNGATE red off the inside. Brady KURTZ white off of gate number 2. Mitch McDiarmid, he's going to be blue off of gate number 3. And Paco CASTAGNA, he's going to be in yellow. Winner last time out off of gate number 4. So 29.31. The Aces have just managed to get themselves ahead. Charles Wright, Peter Schroeck, Luke Killeen, they watch on. They know this meeting's now going to get a bit tricky. Race winners coming from that away side. And we've got to go back to Rohan TUNGATE in heat 4 for a race winner for the home side. That has got to change. And up against Brady KURTZ here, Rohan TUNGATE has got his work cut out. He's capable of doing it. We've seen Rohan win races plenty last season. He's just starting to dial in again this season. So here we go, heat number 11. TUNGATE and McDiarmid against KURTZ and CASTAGNA. Up go the Tates, and it's a good start from Rohan TUNGATE off the inside, but Brady KURTZ has immediately cut back up the inside. Keep an eye on Mitch McDiarmid, he gets around both TUNGATE and KURTZ into first place. Brady just dominant, puts his back wheel into Mitch McDiarmid, bosses his way into first place. They're all over the back of Brady at the minute though. Rohan TUNGATE, he takes on that second spot from Mitch McDiarmid. Paco CASTAGNA finds himself at the back in this one, but are they going to be able to really break the curve from here? Rohan TUNGATE second, Mitch McDiarmid third. I don't know if they're gonna. Best they can hope for now, I think, is a 3-3, and it's going to be another heat winner for the Aces here. barring anything mechanical, you're not going to catch Brady KURTZ, but he really did put it to Mitch McDiarmid in that first race. Mitch did really well to get himself round the outside of both Tungate and KURTZ down that back straight, but Brady stamped his authority on the heat, didn't look back, takes the checkered flag, win for Brady KURTZ from Rohan Tungate, from Mitch McDiarmid. Paco CASTAGNA failing to get in amongst the scorers in that one, but that 3-3 does just keep the away side ahead. Let me say that is another race winner for the away side. Brady KURTZ takes a checkered flag from Rohan Tungate, from Mitch McDiarmid with Paco CASTAGNA back 3-3, 32-34 as we move past heat 11, and we're probably going to move into a short interval with the Aces just 2 points ahead. But an interesting first lap. Mitch McDiarmid was in the mix and so was Rohan Tungate here, but watch Brady, he just immediately cuts back to that curb and gets that run up, but Mitch all the way around the outside. And just here, you know, the Mitch McDiarmid in a couple of years might have just been a bit tougher on Brady KURTZ, but nothing we can do about that. Brady put his back wheel into Mitch McDiarmid, just put him off a tiny bit, and he worked his way up into that first place. Rohan takes cold a second with Mitch third. That's how the race stayed. So we'll just have a quick look at the gate stats again. Look at gate 4, that is not where you want to be. 5 winners off the inside, 3 from gates 2 and 3. Majority of points coming off the inside, but 19 and 17 off of gates 2 and 3. But just 7 points in the opening 11 heats. No race winners from gate 4. That is where you don't want to be. And the Aces are going to have a couple of times in the last couple of heats. That might just swing towards the Spires a little bit. But let's run top to bottom on the scorers. Brady KURTZ has come to the party after that opening last place with 2 race wins. Paco CASTAGNA, guest today, 5 points for him. You know, pretty similar to what Norwich might have returned. Jaimon LIDSEY, 2 race wins and then that 3rd place for his 7 points. Zach Cook come to the party in his 3rd ride with that race win. Dan Bewley, again, 2 incredible race wins. He's just checked out in those 2 and got his 8 points so far. Tate ZISCHKE, solid 4 from reserve, and Jake Mulford with that opening point. And then a couple of last places for him gives the 34 points at the minute for the away side. And for the home side, well, it's scoring top to bottom. Maciej JANOWSKI 4+1. Carl Howarth, great guest. Paid 9 for Carl from his 4 programme rides. His afternoon's done. He might well get another race in 15. Charles Wright, 5+1 for him. Couple of solid 2nd places. Got to get some race winners. You can see that on that scorecard. Victor Palovaara, 2 and then a couple of last places for him. Rohan Tungate's done very well so far with a win and a couple of 2nd places. Mitch McDiarmid, positive, really positive. 4+2 for him so far. And Luke Killeen, a couple of really good 2nd places. One of them paid, but just 2 race wins on there we can see. And that is what they've got to change as they head into the last 3 or 4 races of this meeting. And like we were saying, Jaimon LIDSEY's going to find himself off a 4, as will Rohan Tungate, as will Jake Mulford. So we will see. But I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's head over to the pits and just get a take from Laura.
If you have that ticket number this evening on Wednesday jackpot,
I'm here with Mitch McDiarmid, who is no stranger to the Oxford fans. He's stepping up from the Cheetahs today to make his Premiership debut. And it's been impressive, Mitch.
Yeah, it was a good start for today's meeting. I knew it was definitely going to be a more difficult one than normal, but yeah, you know, we just planned to charge hard into the meeting and make some good points, and it seems to be going well so far. So we've got 1 more heat, and hopefully we can keep it up.
Spoke to Rohan earlier, and I said, like, how is it to have guys such as yourself making the debut in the team? He was like, oh, they might be a bit nervous. I said, if he's nervous, he's not showing it. You're out there like mixing it with the best of the best, and you've come out of the second bend in front there. What goes through your head when you hit the front?
I don't know, like every single race is pretty much the same to me, so I plan to go out there and go as hard as possible, because at the end of the day it's all speedway and you're still riding the same bike, so yeah, you know, just keep it going.
Well, congratulations on a brilliant debut so far. The crowd are going wild for you, so I'll let you get back to your pit day and ready for your next ride.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, he's definitely a talent of the future, isn't he? Wow, he's a current talent, really, but I don't think we've seen exactly what he can offer just yet. Just making our way down the Oxford camp. Still 2 points in it, but obviously it's flipped the other way, so BELLE VUE are currently holding the lead at the moment. But spirits are high, everybody's focused, and it's really good to see the guys sort of like rallying around, and he's not going to run away. We're here with Peter Schroeck. Pete, it is, I've said it a couple of times, we've got a meeting on our hands tonight.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's they're certainly not coming here and we're making it easy for them. So and we're determined to do that for the rest of the season, like I said earlier. You know, so yeah, really pleased with it so far.
Down in the reserve, like 6 and 7 spots, you've got Luke and Mitch, who are obviously used to racing together in the Cheetahs. They both seem to have really stepped it up tonight. They're out there mixing it with everybody. Yeah,
definitely. You know, it's I couldn't be any prouder of them. You know, sort of thing. It's nice that they're coming through from the championship and they get the opportunity here to show themselves up in front of in the Premiership. So they're doing well. They're doing well.
Must be proud.
Very, yeah.
Thanks, Pete. I'll let you get back to the guys. Cheers. Thank you so much. Really, really good vibes in the Oxford camp. What I'll do is we'll just hand you back to Lee, and then we'll switch back down and I'll make our way through the BELLE VUE team.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Laura. Really good to hear from Mitch there. And obviously Peter as well. Pete's super proud. He likes to bring riders through and give them an opportunity. He does that with great effect. And he's doing that very much so with Luke Killeen and Mitch McDiarmid at the moment for the home side. So there is one other meeting going on this evening, which is Ipswich against Kings Lynn in the Knockout Cup. And it's a close one down there. Ipswich 25, Kings Lynn 23 at the moment, and it's a 4-point advantage on aggregate to Kings Lynn. So they're still en route. There's lots of speedway to go there. Jason Doyle and Emil Saifutin both unbeaten for the home side. And Chris Harris 3 second places, 4 points for Louis Kerr, Nikolai Klint 6 from reserve. Close one down there, local derby. Which one of those two sides will be progressing to the KO Cup final? But so far here, you can see the tracks are still out. But you know, it's one of those things. I don't think people gave Oxford much of a chance or an opportunity this afternoon to get the win, and they're really showing them. But like we've said on a couple of occasions, they've got to get some race winners. That's the key now. In these next 3 heats, they have got to get a couple of heat advantages, and they've got to look at where they can get them. Oxford going to need Charles Wright, Maciej JANOWSKI in the next couple of heats to get out there and get a race winner. So let's head back over to the pits where we can catch up with Laura again.
Thank you, Lee. I'm here with Tate. He is in the next race, so I'll not keep him for too long. Really close meeting this evening, Tate. Maybe taken a little bit by surprise by the Spires?
Yeah, they're obviously pretty good here at home, and it is close. I think we're 2 up at the moment, but definitely a better night for myself than the last couple visits I've had, but hopefully we can get the job done in the end.
You've probably not seen the Oxford track too much, have you, over the seasons? But it sounds like you're getting to grips with it, and it looks like you're getting to grips with it as well. What is it? What's the secret to it, do you think?
It's just speedway. It's a bit of a tricky track, and it takes a bit to get used to it, but we'll be right. We'll keep on pushing on and hopefully get another point in my last one. It'll be nice.
Best of luck for the rest of tonight. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us.
Thank you.
It's always nice, like when the guys are in a bit of a rush, they still take the time to speak to us, to give us the info, to give you guys at home the info, and just a bit of inside knowledge. We'll see if we can grab Paco for a quick chat. I'm going to see if I can interrupt him. Can we borrow you for a second? Thank you. Paco, always entertaining, I think it's safe to say. Lots of guest appearances everywhere at the minute. You seem to be on the road all of the time. How is that for you? All of the travelling, all of the miles.
Yeah, it's a bit tough. Obviously, I was good here a couple of weeks ago, and I think Lemo saw that. And then today I arrived and I scored only 6, so it's not that good. But no, it's all right. I had a good night yesterday at pool, and then we're racing again tomorrow. So it's a bit busy. I think we're already into 35 flights already this year. So it's busy, but we do it because we love it, and again, it's all fun.
No, it is, and if it's not fun, then there's no point, is there? Just bringing it back to the racing, you've had some really, really tight races here this evening so far, and when you're coming down the back straight here, just behind us, it really looks like you're rubbing your elbows on the fence. Is it as close as it looks?
Yeah, it is. Plus, it's a funny track this, because it's got long straights, and the dirt builds up basically under the fence, so you have to go really, really wide if you want to be fast, and so yeah, it's a bit of a technical track and a bit difficult, but after 2 years of struggling, I seem like I found a way around here. So yeah, tonight wasn't great, but it was all right. So yeah, hopefully the team can win, and my points can help.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Paco. We'll let you get back to your chat with Lemo. It's interesting that both of the guys say they think Oxford's a really technical track and that it's taken them a couple of seasons to get to grips with it, but I think they're getting there. What do you think? Let's hand you straight back up to the commentary team and just having a quick look. It looks like we're getting ready for the next race, so I will hand you back over.
Yeah, I think they are getting used to it, Laura. That's the problem for the home side. That's the problem for the home side. But yeah, you don't see it as a tricky track really, because it looks relatively straightforward. But like Paco said, the dirt builds up so wide, you've got to get right out there to get that grip and that run. And I just want to say well done to Tate ZISCHKE. I know he's just come out of the back of a team meeting, but for a rider to know the score, it's pretty rare. It's probably the best time to catch him, and because Lemo would have told him that they're 2 down, but the vast majority of the time, the riders don't know the score. They have to ask somebody just before or after their heat to see what's going on. But yeah, thank you, Laura. Wonderful to get a few interviews down there. Really good to get the riders' take of how the meeting's going on, and you can sense both sides still feel that they've got more of an opportunity to take something from this. Peter knows what the boys have got to do, and Lemo will just be looking at his programme card, knowing that he's got Brady and Dan a couple of times. So yeah, they're the ones that we've got to stop from a Spires perspective, from an Oxford angle. That's the 2 riders that we've got to try and get the better of, and they've just looked so good here. On their last visit, they were both unbeaten, and as soon as they get their wheels in line, they're just pulling away. They're just getting out in that fresh air and just getting race wins. So we're going to see Charles Wright and Luke Killeen there on screen. They're going to be out here in heat number 12, and they're going to be up against Tate ZISCHKE, who we just heard from, and Jaimon LIDSEY. So you feel that this could be an opportunity. This could be an opportunity for Charles Wright over Jaimon LIDSEY, and this could be an opportunity for Luke Killeen over Tate ZISCHKE. So we shall see. Whatever happens, we've got 4 heats remaining, 4 big heats. And the Spires are 2 down, they need something. Colin Perkins Property Maintenance, he sponsors heat number 12. And it's a heat 12 that's going to see Charles Wright, red helmet colour. 5+1 for him so far off the inside for Oxford. Tate ZISCHKE, 4 points for him from reserve. He's going to have the yellow helmet colour off of gate number 2. Luke Killeen, 2+1 for him. He's going to be off of gate 3 in the blue helmet colour. And Jaimon LIDSEY, a couple of race wins in amongst his 7 points. He's going to be in white off of that dreaded gate number 4. 32-34. Best view of the building, me. Right over the top of the start-finish line. Love commentating here. Thank you for joining us again this evening. It's great that you're with us, supporting the stream. Ultimately supports Oxford Speedway, and yeah, it's good to know the Aces have got a few fans supporting from back home. It's good to know that any Oxford fans that couldn't get along tonight, or pick and choose which of the 3 teams they're going to come and support on a weekly basis, are watching our stream. So thank you very much for joining us. Let's see what the last 4 heats are going to provide. Starting with this one, Charles Wright, what can he give us with Luke Killeen here? Can they get a heat advantage? Can they get themselves level? Or back in front, up against Jaimon LIDSEY and Tate ZISCHKE. Up go the Tates, and away they go, and it is Charles Wright off the inside. And Luke Killeen's made a great gate as well. And he comes round the outside, but keep an eye on Jaimon LIDSEY. All the way up the inside of both Spires, but both of them get the run back around. Well done, Charles Wright and Luke Killeen. Back into 2nd place, and we've got a race on. Jaimon's looking quick. Luke gets plenty of pull. That's going to give Jaimon the opportunity to come back up the inside of him. But Charles Wright out front. Whoa! A bit of contact between Luke Killeen and Jaimon LIDSEY there, but Luke manages to hold on to that 3rd place. Down comes Tate ZISCHKE at the back. He'll get up. He'll get off that track. Red lights have come on very quickly there, I have to say. Wow, I'm not sure about that. Tate ZISCHKE obviously just lost control and slid off, but those red lights come on pretty quickly there. Not sure whether... Let's look at this one here. So there's a great battle between Luke Killeen and Jaimon LIDSEY. Let's just take it round into the next lap, which is when the incident happens. Luke just pulls there, and that allows Jaimon to change his line and come back up the inside into 2nd place. But this is what we're looking for here. Look, ooh, a bit of contact. But let's just keep that replay rolling and keep an eye on Tate ZISCHKE if we can see him here. He obviously just loses his foot in there, just drives in. It's just a standard slide off. But he's down there. Oh, camera flicks away. I feel he could have got up there. I feel he could potentially have got up there. But we'll never know. But we are going to see a rerun of that one, and what it will do is it will give Jaimon LIDSEY the opportunity to go again. Charles Wright will have to do that work again to get himself out front. But what it will do is it will give Luke Killeen the opportunity to get back over the top of of Jaimon LIDSEY once again. So, yeah, it will be a yellow exclusion. Absolutely no question about that one. Awarded. 4-2 awarded by the look of it. Actually, I'd rather see Racing Me. That's a very early award, I have to say. But it would appear that Charles Wright's been given the win. Luke Killeen the third. Jaimon LIDSEY the second. And an exclusion for Tate ZISCHKE. So 4-2 to the home side. There we go. Charles Wright, Jaimon LIDSEY, Luke Killeen, Tate ZISCHKE. So it's a 4-2. The race didn't reach a conclusion, but it reaches a score. That takes us to 36 points. So it is a heat advantage, which is ultimately what the home side would have wanted. And maybe, just maybe, the referee has done that because he felt Tate ZISCHKE probably could have got up and got off the track. He's given Oxford the benefit of the doubt there. There we go, moving swiftly on. Who doesn't love a Heat 15, sponsored by Jamie Lee Sound Enterprises. Brady KURTZ, 6 points, white helmet colour off the inside. Maciej JANOWSKI, paid 5, red helmet colour. Gate number 2, Dan Bewley, 8 points, yellow helmet colour. Gate number 3 for the Aces. And Rohan TUNGATE, 7 points, blue helmet colour for the Spires off of the outside. So it's 36 points apiece. We've got 4 riders in this one that are all capable of winning the heat. Maciej JANOWSKI, he's got a paid win. Rohan TUNGATE, he's got a win. Brady KURTZ has got 2 on the board, as has Dan Bewley. Now we can see a couple of Aces fans. Great to see them here at the Bet Goodwin Oxford Stadium this afternoon. So perfectly poised, 3 races to go. What that race did do is it did give Oxford a race winner in Charles Wright, 3rd one of the afternoon. Big heat ahead for us here. What can Magic and Rohan do here up against Brady and Dan? Their GP spearhead. But we've got a man in Maciej JANOWSKI that has finished on a rostrum. 2022. He stood on that rostrum as one of the top 3 riders in the world, so we know what he's capable of. And in Rohan TUNGATE, we've got a man who's won Australian Championships and has scored big in the Premiership. There's a couple more. Dan Bewley, Belle Vue fans, great to see. So here we go. Lover 13, Magic, Rohan, Brady, Dan. Tates go up very quickly, I have to say. Caught everybody by surprise, apart from Brady KURTZ and Dan Bewley. They find themselves out front. This is the damage they can do, these two. 2 of the best riders in this league. And with 3 races to go, this really is damning for the home side. You just know they're going to do it. You know they've got the capability of doing it. And they look super quick. Brady KURTZ out front. Dan Bewley in 2nd. Maciej JANOWSKI in 3rd. Rohan TUNGATE at the back. And to be honest, it's nothing against Rohan and Magic. But you've got 2 riders here that are just in such incredible form here in Poland, across the continent in the GPs. They're just capable of doing this when they get to these big heats, and they've done it again. It's a big 5-1 for BELLE VUE. Just when they need it, they can produce it. 4-point lead they take now into the last 2 heats. Strength they've got in those heat leader positions. Brady KURTZ with the win from Dan Bewley. Maciej JANOWSKI in 3rd, Rohan TUNGATE 4th, 5-1 to the Aces. 37-41. That's their first 5-1 of the afternoon, the away side, and it's come at the most crucial time for them. And really, from the tapes went up very quick from the green light going on, but the Aces were ready. They've got their wheels in line. You can see Dan moving across the 2 Spires there. That got his back wheel out into that deep stuff. Brady knew he was there. And from there, really, yeah, they checked out. They did the business. And it is a 5-1. 2 to go. So we won't see Jake Mulford in yellow. We will see Tate ZISCHKE in this one. Just feeling like Tate's got a bit more about him this afternoon. So Jake loses his last ride. It gets handed over to Tate ZISCHKE. And we are going to see Mitch McDIARMID and Victor Palovaara for the home side. So 2 to go. 4-point lead now for the away side. AEW Mobs, they sponsor heat number 14. Mitch McDiarmid, 4+2. Blue helmet colour off the inside for Oxford. Off of gate 2, Zach Cook, winner last time out, white helmet colour. Gate 2, Victor Palovaara, red helmet colour. He has had a second place this afternoon. Red helmet colour, gate number 3. And Tate ZISCHKE, reserve switch for the away side. He comes in for Jake Mulford. Tate ZISCHKE in yellow off of gate number 4. So, now or never, you feel for the home side. Still very little coming from gate number 4. Gate 1 has given us 4 winners in the last 5 races. It's gate 2 that provided that other race winner. Nothing off of 4. That is where Tate ZISCHKE finds himself. So, Oxford are in the ascendancy when it comes in this one to the gates. Can they make that work? Can Victor Palovaara and Mitch McDiarmid get off gates 1 and 3? Get a heat advantage to give somebody a shot in heat 15. They're going to be up against it because you do feel that you're going to see Bewley and Kurtz again in 15. But Oxford have got to get something from this one. Zach Cook and Tate ZISCHKE, they can put this meeting to bed. Here we go, heat 14. Tapes go up and away we go. And off of 2, it looks like Zach Cook has got the better of Victor Palovaara. Keep an eye on Victor Palovaara. He's lost out as well. Mitch McDiarmid in second at the moment. Oxford need Victor to get up into a point scoring position here. Zach Cook out front, looks like he's going to register another race win here from Mitch McDiarmid at the minute. Victor Palovaara is within touching distance of Tate ZISCHKE in 3rd place, but that 3rd place will be crucial if he can hold on. But Victor Palovaara looking to mount a challenge here. Rides it tight, rides it neat on the line. He will move up into 3rd place. Very clever corner from him. But will Tate ZISCHKE look to put it straight back at him round the outside? He's not going to get the run, or is he? Big last lap ahead for ZISCHKE and Palovaara. Oh, Palovaara's going to hold on here by the look of it. Tate ZISCHKE's got one last blast. No, it looks like he's going to hold on. Zach Cook, let's talk him. He's got the win from Mitch McDiarmid. Victor Palovaara working really hard to get himself up into a point score in 3rd position, which he did do. So it does give them the Spires a small shot here as we move into the last race. That was a 3-3. But a very big ask going here. Zach Cook with the win from Mitch McDiarmid, from Victor Palovaara, of Tate ZISCHKE at the back. 3-3. 40-44 as we move into the last race. From the start it was, keep an eye off the Zach Cook got over the top of Mitch McDiarmid here. That saw Palovaara go wide to try and get that run down the back straight, but that allowed Tate ZISCHKE to move up the inside of him into 3rd spot. But fair play to Victor Palovaara, because he kept working, he kept trying different lines, and eventually he got the better of Tate ZISCHKE to get up into that 3rd place, to at least give the Spires a shot going into the last race. But it's going to be a very, very big ask. You can see there two different lines from Victor Palovaara in red and Tate ZISCHKE in yellow. It's on the next. There we go. He held it nice and tight, got the run up, and I thought Tate might come back around the outside of him here, but Victor stamped his authority on 3rd place. Tight line there. That gave him the run. The wheels in line, up the back straight. So, with 1 to go, it's 40-44. It's the Aces to lose now. Let's head over to the pits and see if we can't grab a word with Laura.
Thank you, Lee. And what an evening of racing it's been. Just heading into this final heat 15 of the night. We were just heading down into the BELLE VUE camp to see if we can find out who is going to be in heat 15. I mean, you wouldn't bet against the powerhouse, would you? It's a really tight meeting. Last heat decider. I can't see any helmet colours going. If I was a betting person, we would obviously go Bewley and Kurtz, but I can't confirm that at the moment. Got Mark Lemon just having a wander back through the pits. Done a fantastic job this evening as team manager. He really has rallied the guys together. It's been really, really clear that he's pulled them together as a team and picked them up when they were those few points down. Even like the riders in the team that have had a tougher night, he's been right there in the camp, geeing them up, getting them back into focus. There is a lot of work happening on Dan Bewley's bike here behind us, fuel going in there. So it does look like he will be one of our Heat 15 riders. And then we've got Brady KURTZ in the white helmet colour there. So that looks to be our BELLE VUE pairing for Heat 15. Down in the Oxford camp, I can see, I believe that's Kyle Howarth in a blue helmet, and Charles right there with his red helmet colour in his hands. So it looks like we've got Charles Wright and Kyle Howarth for Oxford, and Bewley and KURTZ for BELLE VUE. So just while they're getting their bikes ready and the mechanics are taking them back out on track, I will hand you back up to Lee for the final time this evening.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Yeah, you had your money on it, Laura, and you got it right. I think most of us did, to be honest. KURTZ and Bewley, in this situation, there's no way you'd go against those guys. BELLE VUE have had a good scattering of riders that have come out in this Heat 15 as the course of the season has gone on. But when you're in this situation and they're riding like they're riding, you're never not going to go with these two. And yeah, hats off to Kyle Howarth. You know, the guest is getting the Heat 15. There's Peter Schroeck just having a Richard to explain his picks, but I think they're wise. You know, Charles, he didn't take the checkered flag, but he got that race win in his last one. There we can see it. It really is not the place to be off of gate 4. Just 9 points for the entire meeting. Gate 1 is the primary gate. You can see gates 2 and 3 are a little bit similar in terms of point scoring and race wins, but you know, 1 and 3 is the place to be. 2 and 4 is the graveyard. You don't want to be out there. There's been nothing off of 4. That's obviously where one of the Oxford boys are going to find themselves in this one. So it really is BELLE VUE's to lose, that's for sure. And if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet against KURTZ and Bewley. Even though we've got our Oxford TV hat well and truly on, you just feel that they have got everything and they're ready to go. And yeah, they'll do the business. But you never know. You never know. Just while we went for the boys quickly to come round to tapes, let's have a quick scan of the meeting that's going on up at Ipswich at the minute. 34-38 to Kings Lynn. So Kings Lynn are really making that work, and they're 8 points up on aggregate with a few races to go. Looks like they're going to find themselves in the KO Cup final. So well done to them. But here we are going to see Brady KURTZ off the inside in white for BELLE VUE. Next in will be Charles Wright in red for the home side. Dan Bewley, yellow helmet colour, gate 3 for the Aces. And Kyle Howarth, great guest this afternoon, he's going to be in blue off of gate number 4 for Oxford. ROWE Motor Oil, they sponsor Heat 15, and it's a Heat 15 where Oxford have everything to do. They need a 5-1 to take it to a super heat. It's not out of the realms of possibility, but like we were saying, if you were a betting man, I don't think you'd bet against Bewley and KURTZ. Brady and Dan have been in fantastic form after their opening races and haven't dropped a point between them in those 6 outings, including a 5-1 that they shared in Heat 13. So, for 2 things to happen in this ride, we need a 5-1 for the home side. That hasn't happened since the opening race, which did involve Kyle Howarth and Maciej JANOWSKI on that occasion, and they need to do it off of gate number 4. That is the biggest ask of all. And if Kyle Howarth can do that, then he probably deserves a bit of a bonus from this last one. But let's see. Charles Wright, Kyle Howarth, Brady KURTZ, Dan Bewley, Heat 15. Green light on, tapes go up and away we go, and it is a blast into the first turn from the home pairing. Kyle Howarth seemed like he started 15 yards back from everybody else. That's how difficult gate number 4 has been. But Charles Wright looking to switch back up the inside of Brady KURTZ. He's on his back wheel. Charles is putting it to Brady here. That's what we want to see. And it looks like he might just get the run up the inside of him here into second place. Fair play to Charles Wright, putting it in amongst the Aces here. Split the pairing. But there's a heck of a lot to do with a few laps to go here. Dan Bewley, he's checked out. Kyle Howarth, he's now looking to put it to Brady KURTZ in third place. Charles Wright has got the better of Brady here. That's a feather in his cap this afternoon. It's not going to help the team in this occasion, but it will be a small bonus for Charles, the fact that he's able to do that. but it is going to be a win on the night for the Aces and Dan Bewley as he takes the checkered flag from Charles Wright, from Brady KURTZ, and eventually from Carl Howarth, who had the dreaded graveyard shift off of gate 4. It's a long, long way to that first turn in this afternoon's meeting. So it is a win for the Aces. It is a win for Dan Bewley in that last heat. Charles Wright, Dan Bewley come around to the applause of the home crowd. And we can see it, Dan Bewley with the win from Charles Wright. Did really well to get the better of Brady KURTZ into second place. And Carl Howarth dreaded gate 4, nothing you can do from there. So a 4-2 to the Aces. That makes the final score this afternoon 42 points to Oxford, 48 to Belle Vue. So hats off to Oxford, they really gave that a go this afternoon. Really put it to the Aces, but tale is always going to be when you get to heats 13 and 15 against Belle Vue, when they've got Dan and Brady in the form they're in, you're just up against it going into those last 2 heats, and you've got to have the advantage before you get there. So let's go top to bottom on the scorers for you. Brady KURTZ 10 points from his 5 rides this afternoon, 3 race wins in the middle there. Paco CASTAGNA 5 points for him. That's a decent guest booking for Norwick Bladorn. Norwick possibly would have returned a similar scoreline. Jaimon LIDSEY did his work early with a couple of race wins, and then 3 points in his last 2 for his 9 points. Zach Cook, yeah, it's totally different. Zach Cook in his second 2 races, 2 race wins following 2 last places for his 6 points. Dan Bewley, well, after that second place opening race for him, he didn't get beat after that. 13 plus 1, just dropping that 1 point. Tate ZISCHKE 4 points from his 5 rides. He got that 5th ride, which was taken away from Jake Mulford, who just picked up that single 1 point. But the race winners, that is the telling factor for the away side. And for the Spires, well, Maciej JANOWSKI started off well, but then just tailed away for his 5 plus 1, just 1 point in his last 2 races. Carl Howarth, a good guest. Yeah, nothing he could do in that last one. 8 plus 1 for Carl Howarth. Charles Wright, 10 plus 1 top scorer this afternoon, and that's the Charles we know. That's the Charles we want to see as a race winning amongst there as well for him. Victor Palovaara is always going to be a tricky afternoon for him. He was either going to go big or return 3 plus 1, which, you know, Eric Rees possibly would have got a few more points on the board there. Rohan TUNGATE again, first 3 races good, 7 points, but then a last place in that last heat. Mitch McDiarmid's really solid, really good from him, 6 plus 2 from that debut in the top league, paid 8 points for him. And Luke Killeen, 3 plus 1 solid, got his average, and got some 3 solid third places there, so 42 points. So 48-42 for the Aces, congratulations to them. Unlucky from the Spires today, more spirit and fight than we've seen from them on other occasions. So well done for them, and that's the tale of the aggregate point. A big win for the Aces. So from all of us here, Rob and Paul on camera, myself and Laura in the pits in the comms box, and from Andy directing, thank you very much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed it. Again, congratulations to the Aces, commiserations to the Spires. Keep your eyes peeled, whether it's TNT, BSN, all the local track streams, especially our own, of course. Thank you for buying the streams and watching and supporting British Speedway. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.